It's time for this week's pet peeve, and on the Escort it's to do with the 1.9 litre engine and its 88 horsepower. Now for the most part it's adequate, but if you use the 4-door, 5-seater capacity on a regular basis, you're going to find it lacks a lot. So I was disappointed that Ford haven't allowed you to upgrade to the available 127 horsepower engine that you'll find in the Escort GT. Doing that would have solved this criticism.
The crossover craze is continuing unabated. On this edition of Test Drive, the Hyundai Kona. The Hyundai Kona is a compact ride that's set to tackle the likes of the Honda HR-V, Mazda CX-3 and Toyota CHR. All have strong track records, so the initial impression might be the Kona's going to have its work cut out to make inroads on the established. Spend some time behind the wheel and that impression changes quickly. The cabin of this Kona is very nicely crafted, especially if you go with the Ultra. This thing gives you an infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and navigation, heated leather buckets, heated steering wheel. The list goes on to include all of the pertinent safety items, including autonomous braking. Now you also get this thing. Now that's the heads-up display. Now this heads-up display is so Mickey Mouse it needs ears. There are two powertrain choices. Most models employ a 2-litre 4-cylinder that puts 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque at the driver's disposal. It works with a 6-speed automatic transmission and drives the front or all 4 wheels. The better power unit is found in the higher-end models. The 1.6-litre turbocharged 4 delivers 175 horsepower and, more importantly, 195 pound-feet of torque at 1500 RPM. It works with a 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox and drives all 4 wheels. Under normal circumstances, this Kona powers its front wheels, but it can send up to 50% of the power to the rear wheels as and when needed. But its ability goes well beyond that. For instance, it is proactive. If you stand on the gas pedal from a standstill, it'll send up to 30% of the power to the rear wheels to prevent unwanted front wheel spin. Then, if you get into an environment like this, well, all of a sudden you've got a lock mode, and it works up to 40 kilometers an hour. With the turbo in place, the Kona is a lot more refined and it has a lot more pop. It runs to 100k in 8.1 seconds and it does the more important 80 to 120 passing move in 5.8 seconds. Now both times are quick for the segment. The Plus proved to be a test average fuel economy of 8.1 litres per 100 kilometres. The back end has been well conceived. First of all, decent room for a pair of adults. When you get to the back here, 544 litres of cargo space with the seats up and 1296 if you fold them flat. Now that's pretty much par for the course. More than the Mazda CX-3, not quite as much as the Honda HR-V. The Kona feels light and agile when driven with purpose. While the suspension is on the taut side, it delivered decent ride comfort, yet it limited body roll to a few degrees when pushed through the pylons. A needed feature is Drive Mode Select. It not only tweaks the engine and transmission to sharpen the response to input, it also puts more heft in the steering when Sport Mode is selected. No, you will not mistake the Kona 16T for a Euro hot hatch, but it certainly does a credible impersonation and handles as well as any of its peers. Now this Kona ticks all of the right boxes. It's stylish, it's agile, it's got decent power with the 1.6 under the hood, all of which makes it fun to drive, and it does that without giving up on utility.
So if you're watching this on Facebook, please remember the big 3, to like, to share, and to follow. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We've got 30 years of content. There's got to be something you like.